to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, because there ain't no one for to give you no pain.
Here we go. It's 10:30. Welcome back to our daily show. It's the third day of August. Amanda Macias in studio. The new principal. Uh-oh. I changed microphone, so I don't know which one you're on. Try that.
Hello.
Oh, my God. I did it. I normally mess something up once a day, so it's like, what am I going to do? So this is exciting because you were over at North Green, right? Up in...
I was. For 5 years, I was at North Green. So I left Alton in 2017 and went to North Green. I was the principal there for the junior senior high school for 5 years.
And how did that prepare you for this evangelical role?
Oh, well, I'm telling you what, my first year as principal, just going, it was kind of like one of those feet to the fire. You get there. I had not been an assistant principal before. I was only, I did some like admin work at the high school when I was there, just like interning and subbing and things like that, but never in an assistant principal role. And so when I went to North Green, it was, you just learn everything. Your feet hit the ground running. And that first year, I just probably couldn't even tell you my name. It was rough. But after 5 years, I really, I really didn't have like an assistant principal at first or a special ed coordinator. So I just pretty much did everything myself for the first few years. So there wasn't, even though the school was smaller, you still do the same things as a big school. You still have to do all the testing. You have to, know where everyone's going to park. Everything that you could possibly do at a big school, you just have to do on a smaller scale. So the learning that I did there was amazing.
Well, I'm sure.
Bringing that back, I'm not near as nervous my first year at this job. So that's always good.
That's great. And I saw, we were just talking, you got a math teacher now too for Evan?
We do. We were hiring part-time. We do have Terry Guyman as a part-time math teacher. She's kind of trying to maybe inch her way out, like retire, but we just won't let her. She's so good, So we do have a part-time math teacher there. And so looking for a math teacher in general these days is impossible. You could just not find a math teacher anywhere. And to then ask somebody to do something part-time. But we did find a young man, his name's Brian Chrysos. He was working in Collinsville for this past year. So I just told him, I said, let's try part-time, to see if you like it here, if you're a good fit here. And so I'm really excited and hopeful that everything's gonna work out and he'll like it there.
Without a doubt. Well, and let's break the ice a little bit further for the folks at home. You had to manage one of the toughest classes, I think, of all time. Okay, I just want to throw this out there. Fourth hour communicating or English?
Communicating.
Or English.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it was. I think I had you for communicating.
And that was rough. Well, and you've taught at so many different levels, and you've been, administrator at different levels. What's it like? Is there a transitionary period for coming to an elementary school or a younger group of kids?
Definitely, because when I was in my interview at Evan, I told them, I said, I have worked from 6th grade all the way up to 12th grade, but I've never, other than subbing and like kind of doing some, observation hours in an elementary school. I said, I've really not spent a ton of time around little people other than my friends, my nieces and nephews. And I mean, me from being a from being a teacher, like, I'm like, am I going to come in here and make these little kids cry? Am I going to be too tough? Am I not going to be too lenient? But I do have a great group of teachers there that are just like, well, we will help you like kind of learn how to work with little people. And they said, don't get it wrong. They go, you can't just be having these kids like sit on your lap and tell them, oh, everything, it's all great and everything's going to be okay. Like they need some consequences too for their behavior. So I'm excited about it. I get to see the little kids as they're coming in, as their parents are paying for them to come in. And it is a new experience for me. But just to be around like 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds, I am actually really excited about this new adventure in my life.
Well, I bet you are, but honestly, I'm right there with you because I would be really nervous to go. Well, I don't want to, what happens if little Johnny gets upset because I set him in timeout, or he gets detention for throwing something in class?
I know
it's gonna be tough.
It is gonna be tough. But I know some of these teachers that have been teaching for many years are like. They knew they weren't supposed to, poke that kid with a pencil or whatnot. Like, you're okay to.
That's so funny because I'm coaching a soccer team now with for a Fighting Irish that's a little bit younger, girls like 12, and I'm used to the high school ages, so I'm sitting there going, oh no, it's all good, it's cool.
Yeah.
And then the coach from last year goes, all right, come on, they're grown up, so let's start hammering this home a little bit.
It is, and I've just even coaching like tennis. I was assistant coach for Rob for 4 years, and then just helping out Jesse last year, and it's totally different the way that you can kind of get these more adults to do what it is that you need to do. And I use humor a lot, I think, to kind of make kids do what I need them to do I'm not a huge screamer. I don't advocate for that kind of behavior in the classroom, but I do use humor a lot, but I also am kind of firm, fair, and consistent. So, when I was at Whitehall and a kid would come in, and of course they try to talk you out, like, Miss, are you sure I have to have detention? Are you sure I have to have IS? I'm like, I'm going to love you all the way in there, and I'll say hi to you, like, when I walk by, but... I want to make sure that I'm firm, fair, and consistent and the expectations that I have for the students, but still let them know that just because you're in trouble doesn't mean I look at you any differently. Like, I still care about you, I still love you, but you need to know that you have to, have consequences for your behavior.
Right.
So
yeah, you can't just go up to her and go, come on, Miss Macias, why don't we just go outside today for school?
Why don't we just go outside? Are you sure that assignment's due? Do I have to do that? Yeah.
I know it's a quarter old, but I have it now,
But I have been known to bend on a couple, assignment turn-ins.
Well, and talk to me too about just even, because it has a really nice community atmosphere just within the school. Did you get that sense right off the bat?
I really did. So Maria Ballman has been the principal there for, I believe, 9 years now. And she was a second grade teacher before she moved into that position. And just meeting with her, she is very calming person. So when I first met her, she was like welcoming and she was like calming to me. And when you come in as the new principal of a building, you are kind of anxious because you don't know the staff. And she just reiterated to me more than once how the staff there like gels and gets along. I'm like, well, that's a new concept.
Right. No way.
Yes.
Wait, teachers don't get along
you mean
normally?
People like each other? So when I did come in to meet the staff, they were all very, very welcoming. I do have this quick little story because it was so funny. So I come in and I meet the staff, and this woman, I won't say what her name is, sweetest, cutest little lady I've ever met. And she's like, you don't remember me, do you? And I was like, well, I said, your face kind of looks familiar. I was like, but I don't really. And she goes, well, we rode the bus together when we were younger, and I was in 3rd grade and you were in middle school, and we went to an IMEA competition, and you told all of us if we were really quiet on the bus that you would give us $1. and I looked at her and I was like, are you still waiting for your $1?
Is there interest tacked onto that?
Yes. And she's like, so I'm just like, I feel like I was meant to be a teacher from way back then, making promises I had no intention on keeping.
Sounds like me on the show.
If you're really good, we can watch a movie on Friday. So it was a cute story. I was like, never in my life did I know that I was going to come into that. But everybody was very welcoming, and so I'm excited.
Yeah, and before we take a quick break, because I got to pay one more bill, I wanted to wanted to ask you, because it seems like whenever you're at places, a lot of the times some of the kids' family, their parents, and I mean, whenever you go into that, I mean, not from a disciplinary aspect, but just kind of watching them grow, that's got to be really kind of cool from a different perspective to see someone's child that maybe you hung out with, really developing through the school system.
I think it will be. I do know just very few families there anymore, though,
really?
Because like the Cannons and the Murphys and all of even Claire Pint and a lot of the kids that I know and know their parents, like throughout the years, they just graduated out. So like, so I know I'm that old. So I do still know just very few parents there, but it will be neat to see the kiddos that I know their parents.
That gnat is driving me crazy. I am sorry. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to cut you. Right. There is a gnat flying around in this damn studio.
And you see her go.
Without a doubt.
Don't think I'm crazy. I'm just getting this gnat.
She's not, but I am. So why don't we do this? 10:40. I'm catching this gnat. I got to take a quick break. Conversations with Amanda Macias continue next.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. Our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
For the biggest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in the Riverbend, visit AltonToyota.com or stop by their location on the Homer Adams Parkway in Alton. Winner of the prestigious President's Award, Macias Burkhardt Alton Toyota knows how to treat their customers, and they will help you find the vehicle that is perfect for you. For years, Macias Toyota has been a fixture in the Riverbend, and now Macias Burkhardt carries the tradition. New name, but the same great service you've come to expect.
I set the thermostat so my house would be warm when I got home from work, but the kitchen is still cool.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we stand behind every Linux system we sell.
My dealer said he'd take care of everything.
At Barrett Heating and Cooling, we understand everyone wants prompt, professional service.
Turns out it wasn't my furnace after all, just a little something blocking the vent.
Pretty smart dog if you ask me. For service you can count on, call Barrett Heating and Cooling.
Lennox, innovation never felt so good.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ DeSilva on RiverBender.com.
It's Our Daily Show on this Thursday in downtown Alton. Amanda Macias, the new principal. I did this last time with Evangelical. I was just thinking, how whenever you're going through things, is there ever like a general like guideline? Because you've had high school kids, you've had middle school, or younger. Now is there like a rubric that you have of maybe the student body, how they act and how you can, respond to students? Because it seems like each generation has a different, niche for how they respond to, maybe criticism or maybe any type of teaching.
Well, I think that, there's different philosophies about this, and how, like, just as a society, we've changed in the way that we discipline our kids, or, there's the new gentle parenting, and there's a difference. There's a difference between public school and a difference between private school, even.
Absolutely.
So my philosophy is kids are kids. They've always been kids. They're always going to do kid things. Okay. And it's sometimes in the way that we respond to it. That's why I always say just be firm, fair, and consistent. Like, you know, just like teaching and kids are going to be different, just the way I handled you differently than I handled someone else. Everyone's going to be different. And the teaching staff, I'm learning how to just kind of get to know them and how to communicate with everybody in their own way. So I don't know. I mean, there's a guideline as far as like a discipline cycle on how you deal with certain infractions. But embedded in that guideline is based on age and development. And I mean, I'm not going to deal with an 8th grader the same way I'm going to deal with a kindergartner.
Right.
You know, so there is room for obviously discretion by the principal. Every situation is going to be different as well. So while there are guidelines for how we react and deal with student discipline or issues, there's also like wiggle room within that.
Absolutely. So, you know, as you're gearing up for the school year, what's that, you know, kind of preview or prep period look like for you as you're, you know, stepping into this role?
Well, I've been working a lot on...
Just a lot in general.
A lot in general. Like I was saying earlier to you, I'm doing this food manager course, which is the bane of my existence. I'm like, what temperature does that? And the thing is we are having like Sammy sandwiches and emos in different restaurants, kind of like they did when my son was growing up at St. Ambrose. They are going to deliver the food, and we are going to serve the food. So there are more hot lunch orders this year than Amy Blumker is the secretary in there, and she's like, they've ordered more hot lunch because, I mean, the restaurants that are given to us are just good restaurants.
Right.
You know? So
I was going to say, how the hell do I sign up for this?
Right. We come to Evan every day with the kids.
I'm just in lunch period.
Yes. So I'm like, do I really need to know whether or not this shellfish that I'm never going to come into contact with? But I mean, it is what it is. I've got to, you know, manage the system. So I'm doing that. That has taken up several hours. But just getting all of the paperwork, I'm digitizing a lot because a lot of it was still on paper. Mm-hmm. So I'm transferring a lot of this over to, you know, Google Docs and Google, you know, spreadsheets that it wasn't before. So
well, that's tedious in itself. I didn't even think about that.
There is some tedious work. I don't think a lot of people really know what administrators do because, like,
you're right.
They're the man, and like, and I know I was a teacher for so many years, and I was like, fight the man,
or play, you know, cards with him at lunch. You know.
Yes.
Oh wait.
Yes, that happens too. So I think that sometimes administrators get a bad rap. People don't necessarily always understand the decisions that we have to make and what we have to do. And that it's all in the best interest of the kids and students. Sometimes, you know, sometimes parents aren't always happy. Sometimes teachers aren't always happy, but decisions have to be made for certain reasons.
You know, I didn't even think about that. You're right, because you're managing the student body, the parents, and then you're managing the faculty.
Yeah, and the facilities, and where teachers go, and who gets what room, and who gets to use this closet. Is that the janitor? I mean, just would not believe how, and I get it, because somebody has a job and their job is very specific and important to them, and it should be respected. But in the larger scheme of things, maybe this person who has this job isn't thinking about this other person's job and what they have to do. It's my job to have to think about everyone's job and what's going to work best for the mass and not just maybe one person. So that one person may not talk to me for like a week when I'm just like, this shelf over here belongs to this person. It's just, no one knows.
I wish I could see a classroom fight, you know?
You are not always the most popular person in the room. I can tell you that right now.
I've had that damn shelf for 7 years.
Now she goes and gives it to the kindergarten teacher. I know.
This is just so fast. Well, and I wanted to ask you this too, because I've always just been curious, and you've been in both aspects of private now and public. What's because it seems like the funding and stuff, with public schools is a little bit more there for different grants and programs. Is that kind of the way it is for private schools? Or did you have to work a little bit harder to obtain things to do, different expenditures and different ventures?
There are very few grants available to private schools. And that's why you see such a hike sometimes in tuition.
Yeah.
Or, not just with EVAN, but other schools as well, just to keep up with the fact that you are going to buy a pack of pencils that used to be 99 cents and now they're $3.99,
Yeah.
So I feel like, public schools do have a lot more funds available to them. In private school, you have, there's just a lot of parent involvement, and, they're trying to do the fundraisers and they're trying to help support the kids because they want smaller classrooms and they want, their kids to have the best education possible. And that's not to take anything away from public school, because I taught there for years and I love the public school. I had one child go private and one go public.
Right.
A lot of people always ask me about that. Why did you do that? I said, because it's what's best for them. So, but there are a few grants out there this year. I'm just going to work hard at getting them. I got to find them and then I got to bring the money in. I got to figure out where it is and bring it in.
Well, that's an art form, really, is grant writing. That is a whole art in itself. And now, open house, do we have a date yet for that?
We do. So August 13th is the service. The church service is at 10 o'clock, and we would like everybody to come, as many people to come and attend the church service as possible, because that's where we're going to have all of our teachers, and you're going to have an opportunity to pray and send good thoughts to them going into the school year. So if families could attend on August 13th, that would be wonderful. And then right after the church service at 11 is when we'll be having the open house. So
without a doubt. And before I let you go, I do want to go a little bit deeper. If you could have managed myself, Joe, Carter, the whole soccer team, for an hour and a half, that was the longest I bet of your life. And
I think I did go directly after that year into being a principal.
I bet you did.
I honestly think it may have been that class that just sent me right out of that class.
For a week to end the school year, it was every day going, all right, come on, why don't we just go outside today?
We're just going to go play some, it was that extra half an hour that wasn't class time.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be study hall time. And so it was just you know what? Let's go get a volleyball and a soccer ball, and those of you who want to read your books, and we're just going to go downstairs in the atrium.
I just loved it because it was it was deflecting the craziness and trying to funnel it into a somewhat productive afternoon.
That is one I do remember, and I tell Joe Papin and all those guys when I see them every once in a while, Carter, St. Sin, and Quinn, I'm like, yeah, I think it was your class that kind of sent me right out the door. I think it's time for me to get out of the classroom, Jesse. I think so.
And now?
No, I loved every minute of it.
We had such a fun class, and now I think you're going to love every minute of leading Evangelical.
I really do. I really do.
And before I say goodbye today, one last little bit of business. August the 13th is your guys' open house in Mass.
Yes.
Well, August the 12th, how about a little bit of a preview at Alton Little Theater to kick off the school year with the kiddos? Circus Kaput coming to town, a unique and wonderful touring show that's coming in from the Fox Theater. Lee Cox is working very hard to secure this. It's the perfect family outing, really, Amanda.
Yes.
Before the school year starts, as they celebrate 90 years this year of being a local landmark. Oldest living and most continuous theater in the country, almost. How about that? For more information, altonlittletheater.org, altonlittletheater.org, and make sure you tell Lee Cox that CJ sent you her way.